back to the Girls Ghosting podcast. We've officially landed on a name for it.
Yes.
That was me like throwing it out there. How did it sound?
Was it professional?
Right. Did it sound good? I think it's, I don't know, I love it. I love
Thoughts.
it. Yes. What do you think? Girls Ghosting podcast on the Paige and Hannah channel. We've done some rebranding since our last podcast. We did some ghost hunting, but we didn't touch on it. So we were called the Curio because originally we were going to film everything from the Curio that we own, but we kind of shifted. Wanted to do more of a podcast vibe with it and more chill. So we just changed it to Paige and Hannah doing the Girls Ghosting podcast. We're happy with it. So
because we are, in fact, girls ghosting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So today,
all things creepy eepy.
As usual. I actually have, for this video, I have creepy encounters, and it's not paranormal.
Ooh, that's scarier.
I haven't real people, I will tell anybody.
Real people all day long terrify me more than any ghost, any demon, not any.
Well, maybe not any demons. Maybe not any demons.
Not any demon.
But like, just a regular ghost or a person. Give me the ghost all day long.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, even a regular person, just give me the ghost.
The thought of like Annabelle, like seeing her doesn't terrify me.
No,
yes,
me
I
either.
have like respect of her space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not like that chills me to my bones.
Right.
Like real people do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Real people, like, that's the scary. People are like, would you rather have an intruder in your house or a ghost in your house? I'm like, what kind of question is that? I already have ghosts.
I'll keep the ghost. Yeah.
Ghost all day long. And, like, people are like, cockroach or a ghost? And I'm like, a ghost. What are you talking about? One cockroach, I'm burning this motherfucker down.
Oh, yeah. There's no way I'm staying in here. No way this place is staying up. If there's a cockroach.
No. That might even be above intruder.
Oh.
Not gonna lie. I've seen, like, I saw a cockroach in our old building one time. Like, it was in a basement of a shop we owned. And that was the first time I'd ever seen a cockroach. Like, not like a little, like, beetle, but like a cockroach, like, full on. I wanted to die.
Yeah.
I wanted to die.
Evacuate my body right now.
It was the worst thing I've ever seen. So, yeah. So what else do we have going on? Other than
us talking about our fear of bugs, but then we're just like walking up to Annabelle. Hey, girly.
Right, literally. I'm like, give me Annabelle over a cockroach any day. I can respect Annabelle.
Yeah.
I know how to act around her. You can't kill a cockroach. Like, what?
And so many legs. Anything with numerous legs.
The way they sound when they walk. What is this channel?
I'm retreating into my body. Thank you.
I have a new blanket that I'm going to be using. You can't really tell what it is, but it's the Nun.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. This is upside down. Sorry.
See, I need to get more.
I'm like,
you're professional.
I'm like, why is the under the Nun? Anyway, it's the Nun. You can't even see it, probably. It's fine. All right, you want to hear some creepy encounters?
What a mess.
This one is called I Might Have Met a Serial Killer. Yeah.
My mom almost dated a serial killer.
I remember you telling me that. Wild. I mean, and you never know, like, they say you meet, like, 4 serial killers in your lifetime.
And to this day, she's like, I don't think you did it. And I'm like, Mom, they found his DNA in the van. What do you mean? She
just doesn't want to believe she could have been a victim. You know what I mean? That's a hard pill to swallow.
I think so, because, oof.
Yeah, they say you meet, like, several killers.
I have some wild lore, and I just drop it sometimes. I'm just like, here you go.
She said, surprised. But yeah, they say you meet like several serial killers / murderers in your lifetime. You don't even know it, and they're just right by you.
That's the most terrifying thing is like possibly
people
just hanging out with somebody that's doing terrible shit.
Like, because a lot of times they'll be like, we would have never even suspected it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is true. Like, I'm like, how? But I get people can be really manipulative, and you don't know.
Oh yeah, and then there's some people you're like, that guy's weird, and you tell everybody, and they're like, it's fine. It's
fine.
That's just
Joe. Yeah.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he's like eating people.
Right.
They're like,
Jeffrey Dahmer. Joe has good barbecue, and then you said that, and I was like, never mind. Okay, so let's listen to other people's stories. It says, I was a teen runaway, heading back home to Washington from Montana on February 25th, 1997. I had 2 male companions, also teen runaways, with me, and we had stopped at Quartz Flats Campground rest stop in Montana for a break from our drive. Not them name dropping. It was snowing heavily as we left the rest stop. I could barely see the road to I-90 when I saw a man carrying a little boy, hitchhiking. My first thought was he was an idiot parent endangering his child and that the poor kid shouldn't be in a blizzard. Fair?
Yeah.
Fair. It never occurred to me to wonder where his car was located. I picked them up so the boy wouldn't freeze. The man never offered any information about where he came from or where he was going. The man also did not realize when I picked him up that I had 2 teen boys in the back of my van, and he became unnerved and began speaking in this maniacal fashion about buying a boat in Arizona. You know where you get a good boat? Arizona. Do you know why? There's no ocean, so they sell them cheap. I was relieved when he turned to the boys in the back of the Plymouth Voyager and began talking to them so I could tune him out and concentrate on driving. The man had... Ooh, I just went down too far. The man had curly brown hair with a devil's lock in the front. What's a devil's lock? Oh, is that the Clark kid?
Curly Q.
Okay. And a scar on his upper lip and chin. Okay. She remembers, you know. Uh-huh. The boy appeared to be between 2 to 4 years of age, wearing a blue coat, red or blue warm-up pants with either an offset red or blue seam on the pants, and light-colored boots that resembled construction boots. The boy would not look at any of us, nor did he turn to the man for comfort, just looked down at the floor and didn't move from the man's lap.
Oh,
I felt bad for him, thinking he must be so scared of us. They were not with us very long, and the man asked to be let out at the gas station in Superior, Montana, and that was the end of that interaction. In 2017, I found true crime, and it made me reflect on 17-year-old me and the terrible risks I took hitchhiking and picking up hitchhikers. It's always hindsight is 2020.
Yeah.
Because the 90s were like a different time. You know what I mean? Like I was young, like I was just a kid in the 90s, but I remember being able to like play outside and it was fine. And like when my sister came along in the early just into the 2000s, it was like she has to be, you gotta be with her. She can't even be in the yard by herself. Mm-hmm. Like the 90s, there was a shift.
You left your door unlocked. You let the kids play out and outside until the light came on outside. Oh, yeah.
Alright, so it says I had a few disturbing rides, but the one that sticks out the most was the hitchhiker and the boy. On a whim, I googled serial killers, I-90, and missing children. I remember the man looked like one of my hometown attorneys, very distinctive eyes. I didn't really believe I would find any likely offenders until I did. My heart dropped when I saw the devil's lock and scar on his lip and chin, and even more when I found a video he posted online, his maniacal voice, style, and tone matching the boat guy. Joseph Duncan III. Oh, a name drop.
Oh, shit.
We'll have to Google him.
Ooh.
The worst part was that there was a little boy that went missing in the same region 2 days prior. I connected with his aunt, and she connected me with the FBI because I had provided a detail that they hadn't made public. If you've ever researched Duncan, you know that he was one of the worst human beings ever. He had a court date on the same day I would have picked him up. Coincidentally, was his birthday. And there is no record of him showing up for that court date. There was a warrant issued for his arrest in 97 for missing a court date, and by April he abandoned and ended up in California, where he took the life of another young victim.
Oh.
I wrote him a letter, and he wrote back and stated that he was not the man I picked up, but that I was very brave for picking up a hitchhiker. The letter is the weirdest thing I've ever received in the mail. Here's the link to the letter. Oh, we have the letter.
The letter? Oh, Jesus.
Oh, gosh. Oh, Lord. Okay, I didn't know.
It's so long.
I didn't know there'd be a letter. Okay, so, all right. It says, hello, nice to meet you, with a smiley face. I got your letter a couple of weeks ago, so I'm sorry about not being able to write back sooner. It takes some time for me to get a new address approved and then print the required mailing label, especially when one of the only 2 label printers here is broken. They finally got it fixed just a few days ago at last, smiley face. I hope you don't mind, but I asked my attorney to Google you, and he found, and there's some redacted things, smiley face, more redacted things, which seems interesting. Sorry about all the smiley faces, but my girlfriend says I sound too serious in my letters, the way I write, so I'm trying to lighten the mood, smiley face.
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
not very serious in my own head at all. Since you are a redacted provider, let me get a piece of business out of the way right off. In your next letter, will you please confirm that you will not use anything I send you or quote me or otherwise publish or broadcast any part of our communication without first getting express and specific permission from me in writing? This is not to say you can't use material from me. It is just so I know exactly how and when you will use it if you do. Thanks, smiley face. You may have read in the fifth nail blog that I don't do or have never done interviews for popular mass media, which is still the case, but I don't mind sharing my thoughts and experience with someone like you, who is genuinely interested in understanding their world, not mine so much, in hopes of affecting some change by doing so. Smiley face. You seem to understand already that there are no simple solutions to the problems that plague all of us. I see crime more as a symptom than a problem. And from what I've read over my years, there are many minds far more astute than my own who'd agree. Or I should say, who I agree with. This isn't his handwriting. This is a handwritten letter, so I'm trying to read his handwriting. I don't know those names.
Yeah.
Okay, so I realized too that is really more complicated than that, as the symptom itself feeds the problem. I'm sure there's
so those are names. Okay, so like Marx, like Karl Marx.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, first of all, I saw that's a Max. Yeah. Okay. So it's just names of like
influential like
leaders and
like ideals.
Yeah. That, well, if it's Marx, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. So, it's really more complicated than that, as the symptom itself feeds the problem and ends up sustaining it. So in the end, there are no complex solutions either, at least none that any human or human organization, religion, government, science, or other, could ever hope to implement. My hope personally lies in nature, evolution to be more specific, not just biological evolution, but social, ecological, and just evolution in general. To me, evolution is simply an inevitable consequence effect.
So he's saying that murdering is evolution?
Of time on space, matter, energy. So to me, evolution is a natural force of nature, or maybe you could say it's a kind of result of all of our forces, including and perhaps especially the forces we know exist, but still know nothing about it, i.e. dark matter, energy, consciousness, etc. I see obvious intelligence in evolution, and I see evolution in what I perceive to be my own intelligence. My thoughts and ideas evolve by branching, adapting, living with their own conscious awareness, and dying or going extinct in a pattern that is reflected throughout nature. Thus, I see the world, and indeed the entire universe, as a physical mind in which I am a mere thought passing through. Smiley face. So if there ever is a solution for things like crime and violence, which I quote in order to emphasize that these are merely human concepts that nature herself probably has little conception of, then it will likely be, in fact, it must be impossibly complex and too complex for a mere human thought to fathom. What can we do then? Well, I think the only thing we can do, and what we must do, or perish, is to essentially get out of the way. That is, stop interfering with nature and let her think for us. I'm not saying anything new either. Philosophers and theologians, not to mention even some scientists, the ones who seem to understand science as a cross between religion and philosophy, and perhaps a solution for both, have been saying the same thing for literally thousands of years. The human mind is simply incapable of grasping the complexities of the universe. This is not to say that we should stop trying. It is our nature to try to understand and our fate to fail. The only mistake that most people make is either assuming they can understand, or worse, believing they do. But even not interfering,
yeah,
is usually easier and said than done. The problem is that we have, generally speaking, become such an
egocentric species
that it is literally hard for us to manage what not interfering might look like. As the Buddhist teaches, the mere attempt to not interfere, which is enlightened being methinks, alone is just another way to interfere. So we must somehow learn to not try and not interfere. Last page. I believe from personal experience and supported by what I have read?
Yes.
Okay. Across many disciplines, science, religion, and philosophy, that ultimately we learn to not interfere by unlearning the habitual thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that cause us to interfere. The problem with psychology, which is what you asked me about in your letters, is the fact that it pretends to be a science, while the very subject of the study is subjective experiences. How can you objectively observe and study subjective experience? You can't. And so to answer your question about the way psychologists tend to put their own agendas onto the patients and onto their so-called research, etc., I think there is really nothing else they can do. With some agenda or subjective conceptualization per se, they would have no science, i.e. observable. I don't know what that word is.
Yeah.
To begin with, all psychology is subjectively defined unless it crosses over into psychiatry, which of course is far more objective and thus much more true science. The definition in the DSM make this pretty clear. The definition change our time in accordance to social perception more than they do with any observable scientific phenomenon. And some definitions are even blatantly subjective, like one for the delusional, which is defined in the DSM, as I recall from my court hearings, where it was beautifully discussed and debated in legal criminal law terms, as a belief that it is contrary to observed experience unless a belief is held by one's peers. In other words, a delusion is not considered a delusion if and when everyone else is not deluded. Otherwise, common beliefs that defy observable faiths like Christianity would be considered delusions.
Oh, there's more.
Okay, well, this took a dive. I did not know we were going to deep dive into this.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so my feeling is that psychologists are not just pushing their own agenda for personal reasons. They really have no choice. Their so-called field of study requires them to choose an agenda, and they defend it. It is, in essence, more of a religion than a science, or a pseudoscience at best. So there, at least, superficially, are my thoughts on your question. I hope it helps. I.e., this raises even more questions. Smiley face.
That's what it is.
As for my being in Montana hitchhiking in 97, that could not have been me. Sorry, sad face. I was released after my parole hearing in Seattle, and I had been confined for the month prior to that hearing in prison. And I stayed in Seattle until I...
This is very vivid, so it makes me wonder if he's not being truthful.
Oh, I don't think he is.
Yeah.
Until April 1st, 97.
Because he's giving so many little details.
I know.
That it's like...
And he's like talking circles, so it's like... It must have been someone else you met that day. You must have been a very brave 17-year-old to pick up a strange man hitchhiking. Good for you. Smiley face.
Oh, not good for you. Don't ever do that again.
Well, that's all I have for now. I'm curious about your thought about you, though. What are your goals and objectives in life specifically? Do you have any projects going right now or planned? Redacted. If you have more questions, then by all means feel free to ask. I am an extremely open and honest person and never offended by someone genuinely interested in trying to understand. So I hope to hear from you again soon. Smiley face. In the meantime, take care. Yours truly. And then Joseph Duncan. And it says, P.S. Please call me Jet in your letters, but still address them to me here. And it has this. So that's the letter.
Which
is wild.
Crazy work.
And then it just says one more thing. While I was looking into the timeline of Duncan, I reached out to the two teenagers that were with me at the time. They both said that it could be him based on the photos and in the videos. In the video, but they couldn't be 100% sure. They said the creepiest part was when the man turned around to talk to them. He said, "You're not buying any of this bullshit, are you?" And then he asked to be let out at the next town.
Don't pick up hitchhikers.
What?
Look at me right now. Let me take your hand. Don't pick up hitchhikers, please.
Wild. That is wild.
The gasp. I'm gasping.
I know. And you know that's him.
Yeah.
You know that's him.
Yeah. Well, the way he, put so many little information bits in there, there's no way I could have because I was doing this, this.
And he's, trying to play mind games with her. And all the smiley faces. They were creepy.
And then he's well, what are your goals? Do you want to talk to me more? Like that? Oh, no. Run, girl. Run.
That was icky. That was icky.
Oh, God. That made my skin crawl.
I did not like it. I did not like it. That's why I'm saying real people are scarier than...
Yes.
Ghosts or spirits could ever be. Well, half the time, at least. Well, 90% of the time.
Yes. Fuck the cockroach, but also at the same time, if I had to pick a serial killer and a cockroach, I'm letting that cockroach chill with me.
I guess so.
I'll get him a name. Party hat. Name him Marvin.
Yeah.
Marvin. Yeah.
Fun fact, I read about cockroaches. So people that study cockroaches often become allergic to cockroaches.
Oh.
Something, we don't know why, but like a heavy number of them become allergic to cockroaches. Which unfortunately means they become allergic to coffee because most pre-ground coffee has particles of cockroaches in it. So then they're allergic to coffee.
Oh, and tobacco.
So
you smoking that cancer stick?
Fun fact.
It probably has roaches in it.
That caffeine and cancer stick. Yeah. I mean, I'm still gonna drink the caffeine, but
oh, God same.
You know what? I guess a little protein never hurt nobody. All right, should we read another one? I have another one that seemed really interesting. I know that took a lot of time, but I feel like
we had a whole letter though.
I know. Okay, I'll read. We'll read one more. I know that you guys are patient little beans. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So this one says, "Ooh, this one doesn't have a name."
Oh.
But I read the first sentence and it said being hunted in the woods when I was in college. Yeah. A few of my high school friends, I'll call them D, L, and K for this story. And
Dark romance girlies. This isn't it.
No, this is not it. D, L, and K for the story. And I still loved hanging out on the weekends. We would often sit in our local woods, buy alcohol, and have a few drinks together. On one Saturday in July, we decided to head out to a forest a few miles away. It was daylight, and we planned to explore as much of it as possible before it got dark. The forest was really dense in most places, and a lot of daylight would be shrouded in shadow, even when the sun was at its highest. If I could read, it'd be great. But it was calm and peaceful. The forest was located behind a prison, which added some fear, but seeing as it was daylight, we didn't think much of it. Once we stepped into the forest, we pushed our way through into the dense trees for about 45 minutes. We were chatting away and just catching up as friends do. Not long after, we saw something through the trees in the near distance, and when we reached it, we noticed it was a fully built, small cabin. It was a hexagonal shape with thick log walls and sticks and mud for a roof. We noticed a huge deep fire pit next to the cabin and trash everywhere. It looked as though it was recently used. We were unsettled, but it was daylight and the forest was calm. Okay, just because it's daylight.
Yeah.
They keep saying, well, it was daylight, and I'm like, bad things happen in the daylight, too.
Yep.
We shared thoughts about who could have built it and even suggested an escaped prisoner had wandered into the forest after escaping. Looking back on it now, an escaped prisoner wouldn't hide in the forest behind the prison and build a cabin. We were young and I guess excited about a mystery. I was about to say, I don't know if they'd stay in the same forest they escaped from.
Yeah.
The cabin didn't have a door, so we knew there wasn't anything inside. We did head inside, though, to see what we could see. And when we all stepped in, we noticed a bunch of tools hanging on the log walls.
Oh, fuck no.
Rusty saws, hammers, and screwdrivers.
Nope. I may be white, but I'm not that white. Nope.
You telling me we wouldn't explore an abandoned cabin in the woods if we stumbled upon it?
If I saw those tools, I'd be like,
well, yeah, once we saw the tools, we'd leave.
I'm out.
I'd probably take a peek, though. You know? Girl. This unsettled us more and we debated leaving before whoever built this returned. But because we were young adults and there were 4 of us, we thought we'd be okay and decided to not just stay, but to take these tools and head even deeper into the forest.
The tools!
In an attempt to build our own cabin. Oh my god. I can just imagine, like...
Put the tools away!
After a few hours, we had only put up a few logs before we got bored. We decided to call it a day and head back home, but we left the tools where we had started building our cabin and neglected to return them. Okay, so now you're just stealing.
Neglected to return... Okay.
Okay, fast forward a week, and we decided to head back to the forest and find that cabin.
So they just kept the tools?
Yeah, they just find the cabin to see if anything had changed. Before we set out, we bought a load of hairspray and marshmallows from our local store so we could build a fire in the fire pit we found. Hairspray? I know it's flammable, but that's what you...
Girl, the chemicals? What?
Okay. You're going to roast marshmallows over hairspray?
Aquanet.
Right? When we got to the forest, it was quite late, and the sun was starting to set is what that means. Okay, this was the plan, so we could have a glowing fire in the dark with our drinks and snacks.
Next to the murder shed? What do you mean?
Apparently, with the tools they stole, I don't know. When we reached the cabin, we noticed it had been completely destroyed. All the logs were torn down across the site. We debated what could have happened, but we figured that when the person or people who built it found their tools had disappeared, they decided to tear down their cabin because it had been found.
So then you're just chilling, roasting marshmallows right next to that after that idea popped in your head?
You think that because you stole some other stuff, they tear down a cabin?
What? I could never be a parent because I'd be like, how dumb are you?
How does stealing someone's tools equate to tearing down your own cabin? Like, what? Okay.
Maybe they're like angry and like...
Maybe?
I don't know.
We were worried about someone coming back when the fire had lit, but we still wanted to stick to the plan as much as possible. Because the forest was so dense, we decided to move to a different site.
You don't have to stick to that plan.
And hope that the forest would conceal us as much as possible.
Girl, no, you're going to start a fire with Aquanet. It's not going to conceal anything.
With your radioactive marshmallows that you're cooking. We walked for around 30 minutes to a new spot, dug a pit, and lit our fire. For a while, we had a great time. We had a few drinks, roasted marshmallows, and my friend Elle, who brought his guitar, played us a few songs. After an hour or so, we saw flashlights between the trees, some distance away, followed by shouting. We noticed there were a few men heading towards us, but because the forest was so dense, it was slowing them down. We looked at each other and tried to come up with an idea. We knew the forest would be too hard to navigate in the dark, especially to the south, where it became even thicker, and we would be cornered. I just scrolled down too far. I keep doing that. There we go. What?
So they're just, sitting there looking at each other while these random men are coming toward them.
Yeah, okay. They're just, Anyway, me and Dee really wanted to run, but Elle and Kay thought that they'd be caught anyway, and we're going to try and either hide in the area or try and reason with them. Okay.
Nope.
Me and Dee ran for it. We didn't want to head to either side of the men because they would cut us off, so the only option was south, into deeper and thicker forest. We had a flashlight of our own, but we tried to hide as much of the light as possible so that the men following would either lose us or not see us. After a grueling 20 minutes of running through thick forest, which has scratched almost every part of our bodies, we came to a barbed wire farmer's fence. We looked back and couldn't see anything, but we could hear the men in the distance. We knew we didn't have long, and this fence went on and on both ways. We decided to climb... okay.
The barbed wire?
The fence, and have you ever been cut by barbed wire?
It sucks.
They decided to climb the fence in hopes that the men wouldn't follow, so both of us started to climb. I managed to take my hoodie from around my waist and cover some of the barbed wire, but inevitably some of it did cut us. We managed to make it over to the other side, and instead of continuing south, we decided to travel along the fence until we found our way back through and around the men.
I hope you got a tetanus shot. Damn.
Right? I had to have a tetanus shot one time because I got cut by barbed wire. It wasn't fun. We had no idea what was happening to Elle and Kay, and we debated calling the police when we were able, but we weren't meant to be lighting fires and didn't want to get in trouble.
With Aquanet, yeah.
But your friends are still in the woods.
You gotta help your friends out. What?
After a while, we came across a section we could hop over safely and into the less dense part of the forest. We had no signal on our phones and couldn't call either Elle or Kay to see if they were okay. Your survival skills are not there.
No. Never do this again.
We continued a little while longer and came across an exit to the forest. We couldn't hear anything but from behind us, but we could see new houses and in the distance. We decided to head to the house and under the street lamps before deciding what to do next. But as we go closer, we could see that Kay and Elle were already under a street lamp near the houses. Okay. We ran up to them and asked them what had happened. They went on to say that they decided to hide because Elle had his guitar and couldn't effectively run with it, and it worked. The men arrived at the fire as Kay and Elle hid behind some logs just outside the firelight. They said the men looked to be a lot older than us and seemed very aggressive with what that they thought were crowbars. Well, yeah. Or something similar. As the men were shouting for us and talking, Elle and Kay managed to make their escape. As they were walking towards the edge of the forest, they noticed a pickup truck parked on a logging trail with its headlights on, but no one inside. We think it was their truck. They then ran out and towards the local houses where they found us. We went back to the forest a few more times, but never ventured as deep, and only during the day. Okay, girl. So you weren't hunted. You stole from somebody.
Yes. And then they were angry.
You trespassed and stole.
And also, forest forests are most of the time have wardens and stuff like that go out there and look. When you're setting Aquanet on fire, creating a flamethrower.
I give you an F on survival skills.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, it's scary. Like, hopefully those men wouldn't have been violent towards them.
Yeah, because with the crowbars, that sounds...
Yeah, I mean, that's terrifying, but like, also...
But don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
And don't...
I thought picking up hitchhikers was bad, which it is. It is bad. However, this is worse.
Yeah, don't trespass and steal from people's stuff and then expect them not to care. In the woods that you can't navigate.
In the woods, and they're like, it's
after
light
setting
outside.
A fire with Aquanet.
It's light outside. It's fine.
Daylight makes everything better, I guess.
It doesn't.
Only for the ghosts.
It doesn't. Yeah.
So yeah, real people, man.
Oh, girl.
Real people experiences. Terrifying. Terrifying things.
Horrifying. What?
I know. Yeah. So that was a little longer than I expected.
And then they're like, we keep going back. I'm like, please stop. Please
don't.
That's
why I said the survival rating was just like going down as
down.
As I was
the drain.
Well, when it said they were hunted in the forest, I thought it was going to be like they were like just minding their own business. They were camping, having a good time, and some serial killer was, I didn't expect them to be like, well, we stole
behind the prison. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. No, the prison had nothing to do with it.
Good gravy.
All right, well. That was longer than I anticipated it being, but 2 good stories.
It was a vibe.
Yeah, it was a vibe. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week here on the podcast.
Bye.